Everyone, welcome back to episode 10. Already episode 10 of the Mind and Matt podcast. I am your host, Neima Killip, co-host, Neima Aryan. Number 10, Neima was just showing me what our new theme song would be if we had one.
We'll work on that and we'll get back to y'all with it.
Yeah, we're gonna have to work on that. I think having a intro would be kind of cool instead of me just saying the same shit all the time.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we need your input. If you guys think we should come up with a theme song, fine, we'll do it.
Yeah, so we need a. Are you good at any instruments? I suck at everything.
Of course, I got you, man. I got the vocals. Arya can play the piano. We'll figure something out.
You can play the piano?
In my day, I could, man.
In your day.
I don't play as much anymore, but Arya plays a lot still.
Yeah, I used to do piano back then, and then I think I played a bit of guitar for like 3 weeks, and then I was like, I don't.
The guitar.
Yeah, like I did like some simple shit, but that was like.
Hey man, you gotta get back.
That's probably like 13 years ago. Like,
you gotta get back into it.
Not really my expertise, and honestly, I'm okay with that. So, yeah, we don't really need to talk about that. But anyways, we've got a couple topics for you guys today. Obviously, this podcast has of course been delayed by a day, for very obvious reasons, which I'll go into. And I guess we can just kind of go into it. My computer was completely destroyed. Like, I wouldn't say destroyed because it's still intact. I'm touching it right now, as you guys can see. But I mean, it was like it went into like a state of mind which was just not gonna happen. So I'm gonna tell the whole story because I just need to talk about it because
vent it out, Ian. Let it out. Ian's been waiting for this one. I've been waiting for this.
Neima's part of it a bit, but not as much. But still. So I go to Galveston this weekend, and I'm having fun with the friends on Saturday. I am completely spent when I get back, so I'm like, I'll just do computer stuff tomorrow. And then all of Sunday, I'm sitting on my couch, and I'm just like, I don't really want to do anything. Then someone messaged me like, hey, can you do this thing for me? I'm like, okay. So I had to put a bit of my computer. I'm like, whatever, fuck it. It's gonna be like 5 minutes. And then I click my computer, turn on, and I click the space bar to like pull up the password, to put in the PIN, as everyone does. And then my computer instantly blue screens. I'm like, well, that's a great way to start. I'm like,
oh, yeah, that's funny.
Yeah, like, it instantly blue screens. I'm like, oh, okay, like, that was really random, but whatever. I mean, computers blue screen all the time. Yeah. Shit happens. I'm like, okay, whatever. So it does its own restart, and then I have this screen that pops up. It's like I think I have ASUS and little circle loading. Everyone knows a loading circle basically, and then it said fixing C drive stage 1, and then I was like, what the fuck just happened? Like, it blue screen and just like I couldn't tell you what happened because it got stuck on like 46% for like 2 hours. I'm like, okay, this is clearly not working, right? So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna restart it. Maybe it was just being weird. Calm down, it's okay. I restart the computer, and then it gets worse because then it says repairing disk errors. This may take over an hour. I'm like, okay, so now I'm thinking to myself, we actually have a problem here. This is not just your everyday what the fuck blue screen.
Yeah.
And so I wait for like another 3 hours, and now we're at like 11:30 p.m. pretty much. I'm like, this is not doing anything. I could have watched Avengers Endgame and came back, and it wouldn't have done anything. So then I'm like, I try to keep restarting it, which was probably in hindsight a horrible idea to keep turning it on, force shutting it on and off.
It's good that you did that. Like, you should do that. Like, dude, I see like some guys that test their computers. They turn it on and off like 400 times. Like, they're literally just doing that.
Yeah.
I mean, you're debugging it. I mean, I will say, Ian, like, your whole journey through it, like, you did find the solution. It could have been much worse.
Yeah, and so the day after, so now we're on Monday, and I'm like, okay, so there's no way I'm gonna be able to stream today unless if like my computer just like Jesus comes down and just blesses my computer, puts down a prayer circle.
You went and got the SATA drive because at first we assumed your hard drive. We assumed his hard drive was just shot.
Right. So what I did was I found my my hard drive, my SSD, It's just like little. It's like I didn't think they'd be like small, but they're like basically the size of
Like, yeah, they're nothing.
I had a USB somewhere. Oh, it's over there. It's really the
Like
size of
six, I have 6 solder drives back there.
you do.
They're like this big. Oh
Yeah,
yeah, dude.
they're very small, and like I'm like, oh my god, am I gonna break this thing when I try to like? It's I'm basically like performing open heart surgery. I feel like because
Oh my God.
I've never done like built computers before.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
like, and I feel like I'm just like gonna touch like, oh, let's do this, and it just
yeah. And then boom.
yeah, it just but so and then I very carefully unscrew it. It does like the little it pops out. How it goes in and out, by the way, that those drives are so weird because you get to like put it in at an angle, then
Yeah,
like
yeah.
push it in. And I'm like, wait, why didn't you just like plug in like everything else in the world? But whatever. I'm sure there's some explanation for it that I
Yeah, I just feel like it's just the dimensions. So
yeah
it's not like you have like some like stick sticking out like so it's
yeah
just kind of flat on the board. But I do agree it is kind of a pain. But
yeah
you got the SATA drive out, you ordered one, and then
yeah. Listen, and then because I was thinking that I talked with someone from CyberPower actually, and they're like, oh yeah, your SSD is shot. You need a new one. I'm like, sick. So then I was able to find a new one on Amazon that was supposed to arrive that arrived yesterday or Tuesday. Tuesday, yeah. And then but then I was like, okay, I'm gonna go to Micro Center, which if you don't know what Micro Center is basically like a huge like tech store in Houston. I think they have like other locations in Texas and the US, but they're
oh yeah,
honestly they're pretty amazing. Like I know we'll talk about what went wrong with your computer about a month ago.
yeah.
But they're pretty awesome. So I gave the SSD to this lady, and she's like, okay, I'll go to the back and see like what's wrong with it. And she comes back, it's like your SSD is completely fine. I'm like, oh, like okay. So that I just assumed she'd be like, yeah, this thing is like been in the Battle of the Bastards and just completely destroyed. But it was fine. And then she's like, oh, your Windows is probably just corrupted. I'm like, okay. So explain to me like in like 3-year-old terms how to do that. And so she's like, I told her straight. I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm probably gonna fuck this up. So just be like kind of slow when you're asking me this because I know stuff about computers, but when it comes to the actual
Yeah,
like,
no, that's deep, yeah.
we're talking like deeper shit right here. So then
The
she's
quantum
like,
realm? No, I'm just
what?
kidding.
No.
I said the quantum realm.
Yeah, no, we're not in the quantum realm yet. But then I go and get a basically where is it? It's right here. Basically, you can plug your SSD drive into this little thing. That's basically USB essentially. So I was able to like back up some stuff on it that kind of essential stuff or whatever, not the entire thing that would have taken too long. And then I put it back in the computer, and then I'm like, okay, let's give it another shot before I try a reimage. And of course, it didn't work. So I was like, okay, fuck it. So we're gonna try a reimage. So the reimaging process, I gotta say, that was not fun because a part of me wanted to keep all my stuff on the C drive, the SSD, while putting on new Windows. And I don't think the SSD or Windows like that at all because because I was able to get Windows from my little computer that I Windows set on another computer that I have. So I was able to like extract like get a what do you call it, like a reimage like the installation media um from my other computer. Are you trying to show off
No, I was trying to move
your
this. I just noticed that this was all up in the thing. Okay,
yeah
sorry
yeah
everybody.
Neima's been
In
studying
quantum
quantum.
realm.
Yeah, I was saying he's been studying quantum physics the last week or so. So if you're watching the YouTube video, you can see all these like mad scientist shit over here. So
I
it,
saw it and I was like, that's so distracting. All right, he's like, what is that? It's like Ian's talking and it's like, what is that gibberish back there?
yeah
It's like, all
yeah
right, so now that we're back on
yeah.
Earth,
And now everyone's not focusing on the whatever the
yeah.
shit's behind
Sorry,
it.
everybody.
It's all good, man. What was I talking about? Okay, yeah. So then I plug in the USB to my big computer, and I have to reimage Windows like or try that like 7 or 8 different times. It just wasn't working for some reason, and I'm like, okay, so you know now I'm gonna complete screw it. I'm just gonna wipe my C drive, and then just go from there. And shockingly, I wiped the C drive, and it worked. So then I what else? Oh yeah, and then I was able to get Windows set up and everything. And then I'm like, okay, this might be working. and then I plug in my mouse. Guys, I shit you not. This happened twice. I plug in my mouse and my computer freezes, and I'm like, what just happened? And I was confused, and then I unplug it again, then like I was able to restart the computer correctly, so it'll come up on its own. And then I was like, maybe it's my mouse messing up. Let me try another mouse. I plug in another mouse, and it still doesn't work. So as soon as I enter the Bluetooth from the mouse, it instantly freezes my entire computer, and then I have to re-download Windows again for it to work. So now I'm like, so I can't use a mouse now, is what you're saying. I'm gonna have to play games with the fucking up, left, and right arrow keys if I wanted to do anything.
Yeah, no way.
Yeah. So, and then
So weird.
I know it was so weird. So then I had to redo, had to do Windows again, go through the whole setup process for I think the third time. And so me and Cortana are like pretty close now, by the way, because she's helped me set up Windows now 3 times in the past 2 days. Um, and I'm like scared to do anything because I'm like, if I plug in something, this shit's gonna freeze. And then a part of me was like, I kind of there's a point to where I kind of have to just YOLO it, and I'm just like, well, if the computer responds, if it doesn't, the SSD is actually probably then fucked at that point. But I was thinking like I got nothing to lose. I got a new SSD that just came in, or new ASATA or whatever you want to call it. It's downstairs, I think,
I
somewhere.
realize now that I understand the story completely because I didn't know you wiped the C drive. I
Yeah,
thought you somewhat re-imaged. So because you were like, "Oh, I lost my C drive," and I was like, "How did you lose your C drive?" That makes so much more sense to me. I think what happened honestly is you wiped the C drive and your drivers were on the C drive. So when you plugged in the mouse, it was like, "What is this thing?"
yeah.
You know, I don't understand because I don't know what keyboard you have.
I just
But
have a
I
regular
don't.
CyberPower PC keyboard. Nothing crazy.
Oh, it's not Razer?
No, that's not Razer.
Okay, so that's probably why, because Razer uses drivers, I'm pretty sure. So
They
you probably
do.
like plugged it back in and you had a wipe C drive and it was looking for nothing.
Yeah. And
That
then
makes okay. That makes so much more sense now. Continue, Ian.
anyway, so then I plug in my mouse, and then it sets it up with the drivers. I'm like, okay, that worked somehow. It got Razer Synapse on it, and then and now it's like my computer is, I don't want to say it's in a fragile state, but I feel like that like after what it went through, it's always gonna be like, it's always like when you come back home from war, you just kind of in the back of your head. It's like the same thing with my computer now. It's just like the shit that we went through. It's just I can't get it out of my brain. And honestly, I can't get it out of my brain either. And yesterday, like the one good thing that came out of it, or one good thing that came out of it, one good thing that happened was that I have another disk drive in there that's like was completely unaffected by anything. And all of my games, all of my like mods and everything were on that, and it's like over a terabyte update, like easily.
Yeah.
And so like yesterday, I was resetting it up, and I'm like, oh, I don't have to download any of these games. Thank God. All I had to do is re-download the launchers for all the games. But I mean, like yesterday, like I tweeted out that it was like, oh, I made some progress on my computer. At that point, I actually probably fixed it, but I didn't want to get people's hopes up and also my hopes up as well. Because what if I turn it on today? It's like, oh yeah, it's fucked. Like sorry, like and it's
I
like,
think you figured it out.
yeah, and I think it's fine now. I've restarted the computer I think 8 or 9 times. I haven't shut it down completely. I've only restarted it or put it to sleep. I think I'm actually scared to shut it down for some reason. I don't know why.
Oh
Um,
God.
but I
You
feel
should
like
try. I always like but you know, the another good thing that comes out of it, Ian, is you learned how to diagnose your
I
computer.
learned how to
And
diagnose my computer, and I think that actually it did help it out a lot because I think I was honestly experiencing some memory leakage for it because my desktop Windows manager was like sometimes at like 70% using my memory. I'm like, bro, wait, and it's just like two blank screens. I'm like, what are you doing? So, but now I'm not experiencing any of that. So maybe I did was having some RAM leakage or something that it just completely corrupted. Like it was probably like it was gonna happen eventually, just because maybe I didn't take good care of the computer, or
I
I
do. I don't
or
know.
I just
Yeah,
didn't
things
update it.
happen.
Yeah, I and now I'm like, I feel like I'm walking on eggshells now whenever I use it because I'm just I don't want to stress it out, but at the same time, I have to stream, right? I have to do what I do best
Yeah, exactly.
and play that for 5 6 hours and record a podcast and you know make videos and whatnot. So there's a point to where I have to take off the leash or take off the training wheels, basically.
And
But
you did, man.
I think I have, but there are some limitations I'm putting on it. I One thing that I was having problem with was after it came back from sleep mode, was that sometimes the screens wouldn't show, and I don't.
Oh, I know how to fix that. I know how to fix
Okay,
that.
well, Nima's gonna tell me how to fix that.
Okay, all you need to do, sometimes it fixes itself, but if that happens and you have to like restart it, literally choose the HDMI. Anybody that needs this, choose the HDMI. So like my middle monitor is the one that boots up. Okay, I have three monitors. My middle one boots up. So I've had that one time. Once I fixed my computer, another time it was showing just black screens. Like
Mhm.
it would show a little bit of light, saying like, okay,
You see the dimmer, like it would like be
yeah.
detecting it, right? Yeah.
And then like I could see the other monitors would boot up kind of because they're just like they're they would show some light because they're LCD, right? So you
Hmm.
could see that. Okay. So then, but the middle screen would kind of just be black or blue, like just have like a blue screen, not like the Windows blue screen, but like the Asus, like, hey, we're trying to detect something.
Yeah.
What you need to do is you go back there and you choose the HDMI, which is the boot up monitor, and you just unplug it and plug it back in. I don't know why. I genuinely don't know why. I think it's just something it doesn't detect it like off rip because there's something because it fixed itself. It had that problem, and I used to do that when it would go to sleep. Now it'll just go to sleep, and then I could just hit it, and then it'll come back up, and let me put my password. Sometimes the computer does what the hell it wants. I
Bro,
swear. Like
I'm telling it, like,
literally,
we say have a mind of its own. It literally would be like, "Fuck you. I'm just gonna keep sleeping."
dude. The
Like,
other day it would go to sleep, but it wouldn't like when I boot it back up. It usually would take me to my login, right? And I'd have to log in. I get all my stuff back. It was just asleep, and I would wake it up, and it'd be like, "Oh, all your stuff is still here." And I'm like, "I don't have to log in." That happened like 6 times in a row that day,
there
and then finally, I don't know why I did that, but
you
finally, I had to log in on one of the times, and it went back to normal.
know, there's been a couple times when I would load the computer and it would just open up the BIOS system and I like didn't click anything. I'm like, "Okay, so we're just in the BIOS system for just some reason. Like no reason at all, just to make me click more
Sure.
buttons to get into the computer."
I think it's a
Like,
good topic because if anybody is looking to make their own computer and look to, if you guys want a game or something like that, and you're like, hey, I want to do PC because Ian does his PC, I genuinely recommend that you build the computer yourself. Now, listen, I know like Ian didn't build it himself, but that's okay. That's okay. But but like you went and you figured out you had to troubleshoot your computer. So what I'm saying is like it's like getting a car, man. You get a car, and if it goes down, you could take it to the shop every week, or you can maybe figure out how to like, you know, fix it yourself. But I'm saying if you build it from scratch, you know the parts, right? So here goes to my story. So Ian had his computer issue. So my computer issue was it was just messed up. It was just a little it was more intricate. So I've always had this problem since I got this computer. I built it. My cousin and we built this thing, and I love this computer. And
Jarvis is the name, by the way, for the computer.
yeah,
If
Jarvis,
anyone's wondering.
Jarvis, need everybody else. So I would always do work on this thing, and I can do computational stuff, and I could be cranking algorithms so fast on this computer. I was like, this is amazing. But I never really gamed on it. And I had some friends like, hey, let's play some games. I'm like, this is a pretty solid PC. I have a solid CPU. At the time, I had a 5700 Ryzen, okay? And my motherboard, it was I literally just had it in my head.
You have a
Um,
1660 Super, right? For your
it
GPU?
was a B550 um, motherboard.
P5.
And my friend Jaya actually gave me my graphics card. Thank
This is
bless up.
1660, right?
It's 1080
1080,
Ti.
1080. Okay.
So I was like, you know what? This is a pretty solid computer. I have a 750 watts sitting there. I said, okay, let's put a game on here. So I think I got Call of Duty first, and I would play zombies and stuff. Like, man, this is like the graphics on this kind of crazy. So I would play, and then I'd be in the middle of like maybe 10 minutes. It'd be this just my computer restarts itself, and I'm like, and this was like maybe 2 years ago, and I'm like, that's odd. Like that shouldn't have happened. So
Yeah.
then it restarts me, sends me back to login screen. You know, it does a little restart process. I'm like, okay. So at the time, I'd play games and be sporadic, and it'd just be so weird. Okay, fine. I'm like, okay, the games, there's something wrong with it, but I never really forced it because I didn't play that many games. Then I was like, let me watch Netflix one day. I put Netflix on here. I remember I'm watching Grey's Anatomy. You know, guys, I just exposed myself. I'm watching Grey's Anatomy. Derek Shepherd is standing right there. Boom. I'm like, what just happened? So then it does the same thing, and I'm like, oh, there's something wrong. Like there's like, so I diagnosed it that it had a terminal illness. My computer had a terminal illness, and I just never got to fixing it. I never really watched TV and games on this. So years go by. I'm telling you, I'm doing calculations that on my Mac would take over an hour, and on this thing it cranks in like 5 to 7 minutes. Okay, so then around this time, maybe a month or two ago, I want to start gaming on this. You know, I get Elden Ring, and Jai gives me a Steam account. I get Elden Ring. I'm like, let's do this. I play for a little bit. I'm like, okay, someone is gonna get hurt today because I swear if I cannot play this game. Then it would keep doing it, and then at one point it would just be like Elden, and it would just shut itself off. Elden, I couldn't even get into the game. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna freaking rage. So I took it to Micro Center because I'm like, I don't know what the problem is. I've looked at everything. I did stress tests. I ran the CPU. Listen, I literally ran the CPU, the GPU, and I put the power supply at top load, and it went for 10 minutes straight. So when you go on the task manager, it goes like, you know how you can see the percentages of what's being used?
Yeah.
It was like 100, 99%, 99%, 99% on everything. And it was fine. And I was like, I can't emulate the issue. It has to be some sort of codec issue. So I thought it was a GPU. I changed the GPU. I get the 3070. I'm like, oh, this baby, it's gonna rip. It's like 3 fans, like it's massive. Get home, I boot up Elden Ring. I can't explain. I can't explain the raw anger I felt at that moment. I literally dropped $800 on a GPU for it to do the same thing, dude.
Oh.
So I literally go third. I'm like, I get everything, I grab PC, and I take it right back. You know what? I'm gonna figure out this problem. So I'm like, I want my money back. I want my $1,000 back, essentially, because like the old GPU, the old GPU is fine. Okay, I realize it's fine. So I'm gonna take that thing back and I'm gonna put that back in. And he was like, okay. So I think I changed the power supply, but I mean it wasn't that big of a deal. I thought it was power supply, it's not. So then I'm like, what else could it be? The guy is even like, I swear I've worked here for a long time and I don't even know what it is. And I'm
Yeah,
just like,
and just for clarification, if Micro Center doesn't know what's wrong on the computer, it's in the shadow realm and just it's unreachable. Because
dude,
those guys know what the fuck they're talking about.
they have the equipment, they have the testing. The guy literally took it in one night and the next day he's like, I don't know, man. I genuinely don't know. And I'm just like, you've got to be kidding me. And so I finally we get to the point, and this is like a 2 week process of me bashing my skull in every day when I came home, man. Or maybe it was like a week. It was more like a week, but it was like every day of that week. And I finally go in, and it's just like we literally changed damn near every part except the CPU and motherboard. It's like, it has to be one of the two. So I go in, and I'm like, dude, what do I do? Like, can you test the CPU? Because I don't have the equipment to do it. I already did the stress test, so they have more stuff. Can you check the CPU and motherboard? He's like, then this guy, he saved me. I mean, he was there before. He was like the Jesus of Micro Center for me. He's like, if you have warranty on those parts, you might as well replace them. And I'm like, holy shit, this guy's onto something. There's only 2 parts left. There's literally nothing left. So he goes and looks and he's like, what's your number, account, whatever? Give it to him. He's like, wow. The only 2 things you have insurance on, or like the warranty on, is literally the CPU and motherboard. And I'm like, the universe threw me a massive bone here. So I literally threw me like on a platter. Like imagine it's like, no, you don't have warranty. So essentially, I changed the parts out for equal price. I was about to do 16 core, and I talked to the guy, and he's like, "Are you insane? Are you mining Bitcoin?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, what do you need 16 cores for?" I'm like, "Well, I'm doing these calculations." He's like, "Dude, that uses like at max like 4 cores," and I'm like, "Oh, I guess that's fair." So I went to the 5700 Ryzen, same thing, but it was a 3D cache. So instead of just the RAM, that it saves like the images in the GPU,
Yeah.
it saves in the CPU like those images as well, like a cache. So like you don't have to go pull it from different places. So it's more efficient for gaming. And so I'm like, okay, cool. So I get it. And it worked. Okay, we changed the motherboard, we changed the CPU, and it worked. And I can play Elden Ring on this. I was blasting Elden Ring on this thing. It is beautiful. So what I'm getting at, guys, is if you build your computer, get ready for some pain because you have to fix it. Nobody, I mean, you could go to Micro Center and they could try to figure it out, go somewhere.
If your city has a micro center, which it probably doesn't,
And it
unfortunately.
really doesn't. So I say you should build it because when you have these problems, like for me, that problem would have been impossible if I didn't know anything about that computer. Like I literally changed every single part. I tested the parts. Like if I didn't do that, I would have honestly that roof would have been really nice. I would have been like, well, it looks like I can jump to the pool from here. I was just like, dude. So it is has a lot of pros, but when it goes down, it goes hard. Okay, because no one else is gonna figure it out. Like Ian probably had a bad driver, and just think of what the bad driver literally offed his C drive by itself. Think about that, nuked his C drive.
Yeah, I mean, I got this computer in December 2020, and I was like, I had it custom made, obviously, like not a pre-built, but a custom made
No, it's
PC.
just good. Ian's parts are really
My
good.
parts are like my parts are awesome.
You have a what? You have a 3070,
I
don't
have a
you?
3080,
3080.
i7 10,000 series,
Yeah, eight
um,
core. I'm pretty sure, which
yeah,
is still
eight
really
eight
good.
cores, 32 gigs of RAM. I mean, I got a pretty kick-ass setup over here.
Dude, that GPU, I genuinely think like what is your refresh rate on your monitor? Do you
It's
know?
144.
Oh, let's humor the people. Can you go to your thing? Let's see if Ian can do this. Go
Oh,
to like just your desktop and right click.
okay. Let me do that real quick. Let me right
Okay, well, let's
click.
see if Ian is
Okay.
streaming to the map. Oh, I can see it. Yeah, control panel. Hit that.
Oh, in a video control panel.
Yeah,
All
let's
right.
see, guys, because he has a very solid. Okay, go to uh uh where's the resolution? Change resolution right above the one.
Ah,
Yep.
there you go.
Okay, which monitor? Okay, is this the monitor you game on?
Yes, the one that I'm appearing you on right now is the one I game on.
My God, you are pushing 144 hertz refresh rate.
Yeah,
Wow.
with the 2K screen.
With
So
a 2K screen. Now, guys, that's some solid
yeah,
quality.
and I like I can put on. Honestly, like for most
No.
games, I don't like most games have really inefficient uses of a lot of things. Like there's like I tell everyone's like, oh, like when people ask me your settings, I play on like extra graphics and high on a lot of things. But like,
Well, because you can afford
well, I
to, which
can,
is
but like stuff like ambient occlusion, subsurface scattering, turn that shit off because it requires so much GPU and CPU, and you can see someone's pores better in a game. Like who the fuck cares about pores? Like
it's for people like to see good quality,
yeah,
man.
hey, I'm just saying because like I was looking through a lot of settings. I'm like, I do not give two shits about like. And there's a lot of stuff in gaming, especially on PC, where it requires a lot of power, especially for lower end PCs.
Well,
Lower
you have
end,
a 750 watt in your computer?
yeah,
No, you have more.
I think it's 750. I'm pretty sure.
I don't know how you'll check.
I can check it right here.
Does it say?
I don't know if it says actually.
No, I don't think it says. No, no, there's no way
No,
it
it
says.
doesn't. I
You have a
probably have to go back somewhere else, but
no, but I think if you had a 4K monitor, you could do 4K at 144 hertz
yeah. Oh
because the
yeah,
refresh rate is different than the frame rate.
yeah. I mean, it's essentially the same thing, but it's a bit different.
It's kind of similar. It's kind of not because like I can do 60 hertz on this monitor, or this monitor can do 144 hertz, but my GPU can only do 4K at 60 hertz. Your
Oh.
GPU can do 4K at 144.
Ah, okay.
So I can do 4K 60 hertz, and with the 60 hertz, so the refresh rate on the monitor is 144, but I can only do 60. So, but if I'm playing Elden Ring, it's possible I could do 300 frames per
But
second.
like,
But my
what?
refresh rate is just like it's just smaller. So your quality and your FPS will probably be better than mine.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, all I run like I'm not a hugely like needy guy.
Yeah.
I usually run at like 120 frames on all the games. Just because it's always I think it's always good to keep it at like a 660, 6090 or 30 60 90 120.
Yeah.
So I that's what I do. And I mean, I'll do a lot of stuff like just because like especially Call of Duty games like Warzone. Like I I don't even talk about Warzone. It's one of the most inefficient games ever. But I mean, yeah, I mean, I have learned a lot about
Oh, dude.
computers. Oh,
It's
what?
right here. Sorry. The refresh rate is a measure of how many frames a monitor can refresh a second. FPS is a measure of the ability of the graphics card to draw a number of frames on the display each second.
Oh, okay.
So you can do like 300 frames off the GPU, right? Because it's pulling in and slapping the screen.
All right.
But to refresh it off the screen,
Yeah.
you can refresh more screens off, like more frames off
Yeah.
with 144 hertz. I can only do 60.
Yeah. I don't really care though. Just give
But
me
dude,
one.
I mean, it's good for you because whenever you're playing, because you have to also think like this. When you have really good quality and you're streaming,
Mm-hmm.
it may not be great quality on the other end. So if you already have not that good of quality and you're streaming and you have to like through the stream have maybe decent quality on the stream, then it's
Mm-hmm.
going to be even worse. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But you have some like really high quality and better movement as well because your gaming is more of like movement and things like that.
Yeah.
You want to be able to not have choppy gameplay. You need to be able to slide and grab things and do things efficiently.
Yeah. Nah, that's true. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think for most games, like BO3, I play on extra resolution, high graphics of mesh quality and whatever. 120 frames, easy does it. And then most like new Call of Duty games, I'll do high graphics, a lot of medium or stuff turned off, just because like there's so much shit that's just completely useless. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, I've learned a lot about. I guess I've learned more about because I actually did a look a lot at a lot of my parts and like what was what and everything. So I could probably identify some things now that I probably could. I like if before Sunday I couldn't tell you what my SSD looked like. I'd be like somewhere in there. I couldn't tell you though which one it is. But now that I
Yeah.
know it's like these basically little chips, basically little flash drives. So I it was a bit surprising, but yeah, I think I came out on the other side. Again, I don't know if my computer will ever truly be fixed. I'm sure it is. I'm just probably just talking my
Yeah,
ass right
you're just
now.
being dramatic. You're just being
Yeah, oh, I'm
dramatic.
being 100% dramatic, but
Yeah,
that's okay. That's okay. I'm
you're
okay. I can accept that.
you're still
Um,
recovering though. You're
I,
still recovering. In a week, you'll be fine, Ian.
yeah, I think in a week I'll be fine, but for now it's just like my heart
Yeah,
beats
man.
because I remember waking up Tuesday morning, man, and I woke up at like 6:30, and I'm trying to go back to sleep. Like it's so early. I'm just going to sleep. And my heart starts instantly pounding. And I'm like, bro, I just woke up, and I'm already thinking about this computer, and I can't go back to sleep. And
Yeah, you have to, dude. You got to be able to. That's your life right there,
yeah,
dude.
and I'm gonna be honest, like a lot of those YOLOs with like plugging in shit. It sounds so simple, but like how my computer was, I was like, if I plug in my mouse, it's gonna crash Windows. And so like I was pacing around my house for like 10 minutes, like, do I do this or do I not do this or do I turn it off or do I? But
Dude, I'm
then
telling you.
but then my computer's probably like, dude, when are we gonna do this? Like
I
like
think that's how these things tend to go. Like you have one problem and you jump into another problem and jump into another
Yeah,
problem, and then
another
you wait
problem.
and
One of my
another
audio
problem.
jacks is broken right now, so I don't
Ooh.
know. I'm it's probably turned off or disabled somehow that I'll find it. But I'm just like, why? Like I'm just like,
I
can't.
know.
Yeah. So
But I mean, guys, you guys have probably had enough of our computer talk here.
yeah,
Uh,
full computer nerd.
computer nerd stuff.
Yeah. So another thing that we were gonna talk about today was React content because React content, especially in the zombies community, but really it's been a more of an overall thing in gaming and entertainment and content. Been a pretty big topic, and I think that content React content has a place if it's done right. It's one of those. It's one of those types of things. It's just like any content, right? You can fuck it up and do it the wrong way, or you can do it the right way, and everyone really likes it.
Yeah.
And a good way to do React content, and like a simple way really, is like I've done this before on my stream where when Cold War was coming out back in 2020, I pulled up my stream and I reacted to it live on stream. And I think like that type of React content is fine because it's a trailer. It's a trailer. It's something. It's a 2 to 3 minute thing, and the big companies love that kind of exposure because I mean they're still gonna get the massive views on their own stuff, right? And you're kind of it's more like a marketing tool essentially, reactions for them, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
But those are for big companies that are making billions of dollars, regardless of if you react to it or not. So I think like I've always kind of like that because I've done it before in the past, but I think it starts to get a bit different when we start reacting to another actual content creators like me, like my content on someone else's channel kind of thing. Um, I think that's when we start to run into some issues, and it's been a problem. It has been a problem recently, especially in the zombies community with all like world record runs and everything. There's there's two sides to it, right? And I was talking with Neima earlier in this, and I didn't know how knowledgeable he was the subject, but you're pretty knowledgeable, right? Like you make your own content, and then some big YouTuber or Twitch person reacts to it, and it seems like, oh, this big content creator is advertising the smaller creator, and a part of that is true, but then you got to think about it in the majority is that when when I if let's say let's say I have 4 million followers on Twitch. If that happens, that'd be amazing. Will it happen? Probably not. Anyways, but I'm sitting on my stream 10 hours a day, and 5 of those I'm just reacting to someone's YouTube video that they put a month's work in, basically about the history of the world, I guess, kind of like that, and I feel like that you reacting to it especially as a big creator takes away from the potential clicks and algorithm and YouTube especially that person would potentially get. It's now gone because the person while they have it while they then go to the actual channel to watch it, they've already watched it through another source. And
Yeah.
the worst thing is that the person who reacts to it makes a good amount of money off it. I mean, like, people who react to world record runs and zombies, there is a clear like from the record itself to the reaction, the reactor gets to what 20 or 30 times more in terms of dollars, and it seems like that the work put in for let's say even a record run could be a month, 2 weeks.
Yeah.
It takes time to get to learn a map, to learn the strat, and to get the run itself. And the fact like and then you upload it to YouTube, and then someone kind of just I would say kind of takes the views away from you a bit. And like I'm not saying that it's all malicious, but there is a part of content creators, and I know this myself. People have a certain amount of time a day, whether it's 15 minutes, whether it's an hour, whether it's 2 hours, where we're gonna watch YouTube, we're gonna watch Twitch. I am competing with millions of other people around the world for your time,
Yep.
right? But if someone is using my content or vice versa, in that person's free time when they would probably watch the video, but I still get the money from that person because they're watching my stuff, whether it's through an ad or a subscription or whatever, basically. And I think that's the crux of the problem is that, and then that people have kind of it's been kind of just a thing that happens now where you just see people react to stuff, and I'm not a huge fan of it, and it like and like again, there's good ways to do it. I've seen other good ways to do it where you like where I've seen what was it? Who was it? Smith Plays in the zombies community. People know these in the zombies community where he'll react to the entire run, but instead of uploading, let's say, a 40-minute run, he'll upload like an 8-minute video of him reacting to certain parts of it. Where I think that is a kind of I wouldn't say it's perfect, but it's a much better way because it's more of the 8 minutes is more of an advertisement to the entire run as a whole, right? Like a short 8-minute video of, oh, this happened and that happened, but then the person's like, oh, I kind of want to watch the whole thing instead of just a shortened version of it. So I think that's a good way. But like I think it really the content reaction react content. I'm saying them the opposite way is a bit lazy, and like I think it's a bit lazy, and it's big streamers that however they got big, whatever they're now kind of resting on that and kind of been like, I can just kind of chill now. And that's not it's not one person in particular. It's a lot of them. And I think that I don't, either they don't care or they're not really understanding that you're taking away from someone else's revenue. But because they worked on a video for so long and those potential clicks that they can get. So, what are your thoughts on it, man?
No, I mean, I think you kind of nailed it. That's pretty much what I was gonna say. When it comes down to it, I think when it comes to content, uh, if it's a if you're reacting to Call of Duty or you're reacting to a trailer for
Yeah, Modern
Assassin's
Warfare 2
Creed,
or yeah, Assassin's Creed or something.
Modern Warfare 2, you're talking about big companies, big games. They make a lot of money already. Like your content, your React content doesn't really affect what the outcome of their revenue is for that game and so on.
Mm-hmm.
You're kind of just like a speck in the realm of the internet when it comes down to, I mean, there's obviously some people that but those are the big influencers and things
But it's
like that
still
on.
Activision and Ubisoft. Those
But
companies
the
are
actual
100 times bigger than the biggest creator
exactly.
ever.
And the big guys, they'll go to them and say, "Hey, do React content to our stuff." But that's different. You know what I mean? Because at that point, if those type of developers and those games are coming to you to say, "Hey, show our content," or "Hey, you're just like me, I'm excited about a new game and I'm kind of doing some React content to it," I think that's fine. But I don't think that people should really do React content on other people's content if there are like I was telling Ian, like for example, for him, I've known Ian for a long time. I knew Ian before he even had a Twitch. And when he started the Twitch, there was nobody watching, and he kind of built up his followers, and now he's approaching 8,000.
Already there.
So yeah, you're already there. Yeah, I figured you're already there. So I'm like, look, 8,000 is quite a bit, but if there's a streamer that has 500,000 followers and he's doing React content to Ian's runs, then that guy is taking away than what people can go see Ian's doing.
Yeah.
So I think if you're really going to look down on people that are trying to make their content and build from there, that's when React content gets sticky, because then you got to be able to do something where it's like, look, dude, if you're going to use my content, you owe me some of what you make, because I mean, you're essentially using my shit to produce content for yourself.
And there's been discussion about that. One of my friends, Kooky, I think he tweeted about this about a year ago. It was like that he believes that if someone reacts to his stuff, that he should get a cut of how much of that React content is, because they're the ones basically making the video essentially.
Yeah.
Like, and I
Even
think
an 8 minute thing, like even if you do 7, 8 minutes, I think it shouldn't be as much, but I think you should get paid a little bit because you're using what I'm a brand. Okay, I'm a brand. When I'm a Twitch guy, or if I'm you, Ian, I'm a brand. The mind of Mac is a brand.
yeah.
Everything that you do and whatever you're gaming and wherever you go, you're going to create a brand for yourself. So when someone's using the content that you built with that brand, they're using your brand. They're using your patentable stuff. So if you're going to use my content and it's evident that you're making money off of it, you're taking food off of the table for me. This is what you're doing. You're taking my paycheck. That's what people do Twitch for. Like, and you work hard. You want to ideally make this a full-time job for you. But if someone is doing that to you, then you're like, hey, dude, I'm not where you're at. I'm not. I'm trying to get where you're at, but you're kind of impeding me from getting there. So I think that I mean it's fully there's probably people that go out there and they have NDAs on things of like um if you're going to use my content we have to have some sort of deal or if something because you can't just take somebody like look you know what people do now, right? They or not even do now, but you can throw watermarks on your videos. And if you have watermarks in your videos, mine and Matt, then it has your stuff, right? So if people's going to watch your video and they'll probably say, oh, this is somebody's run, but then you have your watermark all over the video, then what are they going to do? You can't stream a video with watermark on it.
But
So
that's true. But then the counterpoint is that if I upload that and some regular dude or someone wants to watch it, then they have to watch a video with watermarks on it, and like
but
that.
maybe you do something where, like, look, you have people in your Discord.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You have people in your Discord. If you wanted to give them the video, you give it to them there. But I'm saying that's kind of like an extreme case. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
saying you're going to immediately do that, but if someone is taking your stuff and you don't know what to do, then what I would do if they don't want to do a deal with me and say, "Hey, give me a cut," I'd say, "Here's a watermark on my stuff. If you guys want to see my content, join my Discord." Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Because you got to protect the brand, bro. At the end of the day, like you got to protect the brand. You are trying to. Everybody's trying to be proficient and build their way up on Twitch, but you shouldn't. There's ways to lift people up, but that's kind of one way where you're just like putting somebody down. And I do agree with the laziness part, because dude, make your own content. Like React
And
content is really not that hard.
that's the
If you
thing. Like a lot of these big creators, they've made content in the past to get them to that level at some point.
Yeah,
And
they
so
just
like,
want to
and then it's like, so like you've done it before, and you because no one builds a channel on just solely reacting to stuff. No one has ever done that. Well, there was this one channel where it's like kids react to stuff, but that's a little bit different. But like just a pure solo content creator, there's no one that's like just unless I could be wrong, but because there's so many people on the internet, but no, that I know of that didn't make their entire channel just off. Oh, I react to stuff. I just sit in front of a computer and react to stuff all day. They had to make something in the past that was special enough to people to get them there in the first place, and then for them to watch that content, that react content, then basically. So like it's
yeah.
and I feel like that there's been rumblings and there's been rumblings that I feel like that this could come to a head in about 5 or 6 months to where Twitch and YouTube start putting their foot down about React content on their platforms because the quiet majority is now starting to be a very loud majority on React content and how they smaller creators just don't like it. And I feel like that YouTube and Twitch will eventually have to respond in some way because it's gonna be to a point to where it's gonna create such a divide between smaller and bigger content creators. Not all of them, obviously, but a portion of them, to where
Yeah.
then it's like you have unnecessary beef on the platform that the owner or the like Twitch and YouTube could easily control if they put their foot down on this stuff, but
Yeah.
again, that would be on the big streamers and big YouTubers. What would they do if YouTube was like, if you react to something now, 50% of the revenue goes to that person's video, or 50% of your revenue goes to that person? Then would they do it? Maybe they might still do it, but there'd be less incentive because they would make a lot less money. But again, like I'm just spitballing there and how they would do that, but it's
I mean, it's like,
a very tough, yeah, it's a very tough situation, and I think that it just might cause a rift that I'm kind of, for me, I don't really like drama that much. I'm not huge on drama because it's, to me, it's just, it's way too draining. Keeping your mind on the keyboard instead of what's in front of you, and like I don't like it. And I'm not trying to, and it causes beef now, and it'll cause more beef later. So I just
yeah.
I don't think that React content's good. but it just I think it just has to stop. And to be honest, at
No,
a
I
certain
agree. I
point.
think there's is obviously like it's not black and white. It's a bunch of gray, right?
Yeah,
But the grayer parts is more of doing React content to people that take the time to try to get followers and get people to watch their content, and you're taking their content as yours. And that right there is, I mean, I don't even have to say it. Like, if people don't agree with that, then you know, I you can take it somewhere else because I genuinely, when you say it, you have to put yourself in those shoes. I mean, I'm not a content creator, but if, like I just said, if I'm in Ian's shoes and someone is using my content to boost their sort of content, I'm gonna be a little pissed because I'm gonna say, hey, I spend the time, I sit there for 5 hours and I game, and I love doing it, right? You know, you have the people that come watch you, and you get to sit there do what you like, but you're taking a chunk out of your day. You have to do 5 hours of that. Then you do, if you want to do your own content, right? You're doing the Star Wars, like you were doing Lego Star Wars. You're putting stuff on YouTube. It's kind of a job, man. So it's like, hey, why are you reaping rewards off of stuff that I'm working hard for?
yeah,
So I genuinely think it should stop. And you're right. It's going to come to a point where YouTube and Twitch is going to get this step in because people get disgruntled, man. When money comes into play, okay, people get disgruntled, and that's what's going to happen. They're going to get into play, and then we're going to see some talks about, um, you know, it's not going to be like you can't do React content. They're not going to say that. They're going to say if you're going to use somebody else's content, these are the legalities behind it.
yeah. And it has to be more than just like a description shout out, basically, because those like I think another thing that people don't realize is that I mean I've done classes on this on website building and making people click as least amount of links as possible. That's how you say it.
No.
But so the average person that's gonna one go on a YouTube video and then click the description and then scroll down, then click the link to your original video. Those three actions or 2 to 3 actions, only a small like crumble of the pie
Yeah,
portion of
nobody's
people
gonna
do.
do that because if you're gonna do,
It's too many clicks, and you'll be surprised on like how many like the percentage of people that do that, and then the lesser percentage of the more clicks you do. And I think that like that's the thing that a lot of people that don't make content don't realize, and it's okay because it's hard to be in those shoes when you haven't been there yet. But it's like if someone was this might be a bit extreme, but I think the premise is the same. If you're at work and you make this brand new idea, and then someone kind of comes at the last minute and sweeps and takes it and sends it to corporate as theirs, and they get the promotion, you don't. And
no,
it's like
that's right.
you're reaping the rewards off. It's reaping it's like plagiarism. To
Yeah,
a point, basically.
it's more of like if you think of it, it's more of like everybody has their own content. Their brand is their patent. When you put a patent on something, you're saying this is my work. You know, the copyright and all this stuff. Like, for example, Spider-Man. Sony has Spider-Man. Marvel wants Spider-Man. They have to strike a deal. They can't go use Spider-Man. Marvel cannot just go walk over and say, hey, give me Spider-Man, thank you. We're just going to use him, make a shit stupid amount of money off of him. Boom.
Yeah.
Sony's like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on. I want literally over 50% of what you make
All
off this.
down, Buckaroo.
Hold on, Buckaroo. You idiots sold it to us years ago for 7 million. He is worth 10 billion now.
Yeah.
So it's like they go. It's like if Marvel could just go grab Spider-Man and be like, "Hey, we're gonna use it for millions of dollars." No, and obviously that's extreme money wise, but it's the same thing. Even though when you're playing zombies, it's not like okay, a person that does a run patent that. It's like the patent is your run.
Yeah.
The patent is for somebody else is their run because you did it. So if somebody grabs your run and then says, "Let's react to this," it's like you just took my patent, sir, and you owe me money because I literally streamed this and you're taking my views away. It's like 1 + 1 = 2, and they're gonna do it. And to not beat the dead horse anymore, it's like, look, at the end of the day, they will do something about it because when money comes into play, people get angry. It's like you said, people are starting to get disgruntled. When people get disgruntled, it starts picking up quick because they when it comes into play, when money comes into play, people are going to figure it out. So we both agree React content, if used correctly, can be good, but if you use it the wrong way, you need to figure out a way of creating your own content and not using somebody else's.
And one last thing before we switch gears is also a lot of the React content isn't very transformative either in my opinion. Like I watched some React content before I just kind of got tired of it because I was kind of the same thing. More people are just like, kind of like, oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Like you just say that, like, how is that transforming the video? And like, of course, like you can use other people's work and like snippets. Like if you're trying to make a point about,
Yep.
how great a movie was or how bad it was, and you want to take like, let's say like a 20-second segment of someone's video, like because they have made a good point. That's different. That's like making a source in a paper instead of basically just copying and pasting the paper essentially.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's to me it's about it being the lack of transformity. That's not a word. Lack of transformation, or what do you want to call it? And the fact that
Yeah.
and the fact that the money is just completely lopsided in terms of who gets in and who doesn't. But again, I think as I said, I think we agree that Twitch and YouTube will have to come in at some point and clean it up. Whether that will be now or in about a six, I'd say by the end, either by the end of 20, I think December or January, there will be something about this because it's
Oh yeah.
because someone's gonna get. I can guarantee you, it's the internet. Someone's gonna get pissed off in the next half year.
Yeah, you got to think. It doesn't take an army. It takes one guy that has some followers to get really pissed
One
off.
guy in a pitchfork, baby.
One guy in a pitchfork goes straight to corporate and says, "You know what, kid? I've had enough." And then boom, things change.
Yeah.
But it will literally it will push people away from doing React content. Because if you think about it, Ian, I just thought of this. If you think about it, for somebody, a big follower to take somebody else's content, they'll make more money than that person would with their content because they have
Right.
a bigger following,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So if they do a deal where it says you need to give credit and money to this person, you're going to give somebody more money. If I'm the big follower, they're probably going to make more money than they would pushing out their own content. So
Hmm.
it's like, okay, why would I do this then?
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
just literally funding this guy's life now. So now they probably
Money, please come here, baby.
like, oh, 50%. He only gets paid a quarter of this. How about we do our own content now?
Yeah.
Jake Paul, I'll see you later.
Yeah. But and I think that once it comes ahead and it is snuffed, then I think it'll be a healthier market in my opinion for online content creation because those people will
Yeah.
have to go back to what got them to be that big in the first place. And
Well,
I
we
think
also
and that'd be
look
a good
to
thing.
yeah, no, not look to, and I'm and the reason I'm not like too like oh these people or this and that, and I'm very kind of on the side of like React Con can be used for bad, but this realm is relatively new. You know, we're in a realm of like I talked about it the other day. I think it was just like we've had streaming services. We only had literally Netflix 10 years ago, and now we have over like 100 streaming services now.
Yeah.
We Twitch was not even a conceived notion in like 2009. Now we have people that are portraying from games all the way to teaching stuff on YouTube. It's just like so it's such a new realm and I think it's a good thing because you start having to put the rules in as time goes on.
Yeah.
Right? Because then you see this, oh, okay, this makes more sense to do this and get make sure React content doesn't step on the toes of other creators. Then they may say something else. So now you're building a whole rule book. 10 years from now, Twitch and these streaming services or not streaming services, but Twitch and in this realm is going to have more rules.
Yeah.
It's going to have a lot more rules. There's going to be a lot more ways to make money through it. There's going to be ways to work together. It's just going to be so. I guess what I'm trying to get at is like, even though right, this may cause Twitch and YouTube to step in. This is necessary because in this new realm, it's the best way to do it is you can't just sit down and be like, here are the rules, this is how it's going to work. Because you don't know what's going to happen. People didn't know this was going to happen. People didn't know that you could do like take someone else's content and like, oh, here, this, that, right? So it's like, okay, we got to make a rule for this. Something else happens. We got to make a rule for this. Then you start kind of weeding out the issues and you get to a place where, like you said, now this realm is a lot more efficient. More people can get into it and there's more money moving.
Yeah, and it's just healthier. It's just a
It's just a healthier
healthier market.
ecosystem.
Yeah,
Yeah,
healthier ecosystem where no one's pissed off at someone else because of some random shit. So
exactly.
I mean that's the internet daily. But hey, if you piss less people off, it'll be a better ecosystem. But anyways, so
Anyway.
that is our thoughts on content react. I keep seeing
Yeah,
content
React
reaction,
content. Let me just do this again.
react
That's our stuff
content,
on React content.
react content, not content reaction. Why I don't know why I
Yeah,
keep
I don't
saying
know.
I don't know why that word like came in my head. I'm like it's like I'm getting them mixed for some reason. Anyways,
Anyways,
last segment of this, we want to do something a bit special for the 10th episode. Where actually, I mean, we've been doing this for almost 3 months now. What we did the trailer, we've done 10 episodes, so we've done 11 segments now. And we were thinking about like what would be like a good like 10th thing. I was thinking of making a cake, and then the whole computer shit happened. I was like, "Oh, fuck that, we're not gonna do that.
yeah.
But we thought that like what would be a good like little story about us two basically. And we were thinking about like we love like easy one for us was our high school days,
Our high school days.
and like
Because I genuinely cannot sit down and say I met Ian like this. I'm pretty sure how we met. Like so, we wanted to get into kind of talk about us, but I'm pretty sure how we met though, Ian, was through basketball.
yeah, 100%.
100%. I think it was the basketball court.
Yeah.
And Ian McKillop, freshman year of high school, was like averaging 25 a game. Like we were on the freshman team, and he was just getting buckets. And our team was ass. Like our team was boo boo butt cheeks. It was bad. So then we were on the same team sophomore year, and we were on JV. And then Ian and I started playing more together because I wasn't that
Yeah.
good in freshman year. But then we started playing more together. I was the point guard, and Ian was the shooting guard. And I mean, I'm gonna tell you guys, I have some footage. I need to find it, and we
Oh
just.
my god.
But Ian and I, we had a pretty good team. Like Ian was just dirty. Like Ian was just like he could get to the basket and drive any way he wanted to. I mean, I was averaging maybe 7 assists a game just off of Ian. It'd be like Aryan outlet throws it down the court. Ian's already there, lays it up. There's
Oh,
another one.
I was the expert on like I guess cherry picking, right?
Cherry picking was Ian.
Because I would contest a shot, affect the defensive rebound, someone else get it. I'm down
Dude,
court ready. Like
ready to go. And I'm just my coach Berard would be like, I swear to God, if you get that rebound and dribble, like you're coming out the game. I mean, every time rebound, I
Well,
look up.
that's what he kept telling you and everyone else. He's like Ian's already down the court. Like
Yeah,
y'all better get your ass looking
got it.
up and just throw it down to him so he can finish the layup. And that's the one
Yeah,
thing is that I remember I didn't shoot that many threes. I wasn't a great shooter. But so
well,
basically Robert was like, we're just gonna live in transition the entire time. So
no,
it
yeah,
basically happened to where it was someone gets the rebound and someone passes it to me, and it would either be I take one dribble or I'm at half court and I have to kind of like get my
yeah,
way to the rim. And so like a lot of stuff that I worked on back when I was in high school was transition and like quick hitter moves. Something like ISO. We
yeah,
didn't run any
yeah.
ISO. It was like quick hitter like crossover or quick behind the back or whatnot. And
To
like
the rim, and we would literally like Ian Starr. He was a slasher. Ian was a slasher. I was the 3 point defensive guy. Like I would live behind the arc. I would get to a layup or get to a mid range, but like I was more of the guard where I would get the offense moving, and if I was open at three and they kick it out, like that thing's going in.
yeah.
So this team we had sophomore year. So Ian is it like I remember. Let me tell this one story. We were at St. Pius. I don't know if you remember this story. It was JV. I have a few stories, and Oh man, we were down like 20 at halftime. Oh man, I don't know if you remember this. We were at St. Pius. Coach Watt comes in and
Oh,
he's
Coach
like,
Watts.
"You guys, like, we're putting in the diamond, like that defense where we've had like one guy goes
I remember,
94
I
feet."
remember the first use of the diamond
Yeah, the
defense.
first use of the diamond defense. You know what? I have a whiteboard.
He has a whiteboard. Oh my god, guys, the diamond defense. I can't tell you. I never ran that kind of defense before until that night.
Should I write it on the whiteboard?
You
No,
should. Honestly, you
people
could.
can't see it on the people can't see it on the.
Oh
Hold
yeah.
on,
Well,
but hold on.
you why don't you write it and then I can explain on how it
Yeah, yeah,
works.
yeah. We'll hold on. This is
Because
a
guys, the diamond defense, it's not, you don't see it a lot in
dude.
college or professional. It is a very good strategy to when you're playing adolescent children that don't know how to handle the ball that well, and like
Okay.
it was a
Here we
game
go.
changer and it was a season changer for
Can we
us.
see this?
Yeah, I
Oh,
can see it.
this is perfect.
Yeah, perfect.
This is
Go ahead.
perfect. Okay, guys. So we're gonna talk through this for the people that
If you're listening to the
are
podcast, don't worry. We'll tell you how it is. And also, you
We'll
might
break
as well
down.
look it up as well. It's a great defensive set.
It's a great. So we're down. We're down 20 at like 15 to 20 at halftime. Coach Berard is pissed. Coach Watt comes in. He's like, "We got to do the defense," and we've always practiced it, but we never used it.
Yeah,
Okay. So here's the court. Okay. Let's say we have
you're doing good.
this is their
Just
side.
do the sidelines and baselines. You don't need to do the stuff in the middle.
Stuff in the middle. Okay. Here's a sideline. Can you see this?
Yeah. You can see
Okay.
it. Yep.
Here is the 3-point line on this side.
Yeah. Okay. You can see that.
Basket,
Paint. Kind of like that.
paint, and then I'm just gonna put it. Oh, the paint's gotta get a little bit more. Okay, so
It's
we're
okay.
just right now drawing for those. Ian, for those, tell them what we're doing right
Yeah.
now.
So basically, we're just drawing basically the back quarter half of the court essentially, where it's a full court press defense.
Yeah, it's
And
a full court press, literally. But
you
it's
can do
so.
you could do a half court defensive set of it, but I didn't like it that much compared to the full court just because it's
I'm
sequence.
glad you remember this, and this makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so here it was. So this is our. So it depends, right? So we have the court here.
Yeah.
The idea of the defense was you'd have a man. So let's say if this was our side, we have one guy in the hole. Okay, he's under the basket. Obviously, like probably the center,
Yeah.
right? Then we get three guys. Ian was down there, so it'd be one of the forwards, or no, two of the forwards, and then the guard. So it's kind of like in this area. So now we have a line of three players, and we got one guy in the hole. The top guy that makes this the diamond, he is right here, and he will guard up from 94 feet
Yeah.
down.
And so yeah, so that's the half court version of it. Or the other full court is where you have the same dude doing 94 feet, but everyone gets pushed. So basically, the bottom three guys that are like in the under the 3-point line under their defensive basket are then at half
Make this
court.
clear. So the one I showed is the half court. Ian, you're the one you're showing is
Yeah,
the
I like the full court one better,
yeah, so
honestly.
the full court one though is the guys come up. All right, explain it to me, Ian.
Yeah, so if you're I'm gonna explain this very intricately. So you'd have one person under your offensive basket or the one you're scoring on basically, and that person is going to guard. Basically, he's going to guard whoever gets the ball first. Whoever gets the ball first, he's going right to that person. Point is probably going to be the point guard, and then you have three guys at half court. You have one on the left side, directly half court, one in the middle, and one on the right. Yeah, and so basically, and then you have your center. The center actually is the one who kind of would push up a bit, probably to like the free throw line area, I'd say.
He kind of move. He operates in this area.
Yeah, like from free throw line to the like basically basket to the 3-point line of the other of your defensive basket. So then that person that would defend at the top would then basically decide which side they're gonna funnel the defense. So if you want him to dribble left,
Defense, dude.
yeah, if you wanted them to dribble left, you then funnel them to the left side. You kind of like position yourself to shade it to the left side. That one of those two persons on one of those sides would then come up instantly and trap basically, and then
trying to trap in the wings here.
Yeah, and then so basically, let's say if I had someone going dribbling to the left side, the guys are defending there at full court, and then we'll have the person on that side come up, and then the person in the middle of the court will then replace the person that went up to go trap, and then the other person on the other side will then go to the center of the court. So
Okay, so
basically,
let's draw it. Okay, so let's draw it so
yeah,
the people can see it. So I'm gonna erase this here.
yeah,
So I know we a lot of jargon here, but this will make sense once we actually show it. So here it is, right? So Ian is saying we have our three guys at half court. The whole point, honestly, for the three guys being at half court is you're looking for the trap.
yeah,
You're looking for the trap, and then this is so important because if you play basketball, the main thing on a full court trap is the offense will always try to send a guy to the middle because it's like the most open part of the floor. You can get it to the middle, and now I can operate. I
operate
can
it.
move on which side.
Yeah,
So that's why we threw our guy in the middle because now he's here, and we have to be able to rotate. So I'm here, Ian. This was me. I'm gonna shade to this side.
yeah, shade to one of the
Okay.
sides. Yeah,
We shade to one of the sides. Let's say Ian is right here. Okay. This is where the trap happens. This guy and this guy.
mm-hmm.
So now let's move it. So we have the guy gets shaded here, and then this is it. So this is the trap.
Yep.
Okay, so then continue.
Yeah. So it would probably actually what would happen was that person at the half court, like me for example, would push up actually a bit. No. I'm sorry, on that left side. It would probably the trap would probably be yeah, like right there-ish, I'd say. Yeah, like right there, because that person would push up, right, and then the X in the middle or one of the defenders would then basically replace the person because usually how an offense works is that they'll have someone in the middle and then someone as a direct line pass. You want them to throw it across the court because that basically makes it a live ball at that point. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're gonna then put the person in the center where the person to where the right behind the trap, getting the closest pass, and then you have that person that was on the far side then push up. Yeah,
towards
right.
the middle.
Yeah.
Like, he kind of shades in this region here.
Yeah, whoever's like the closest in that region, he goes and guards them basically.
Yeah, he's kind of in this area because he's right. Because now this guy has to throw the pass.
Yeah.
And he's got to throw it this way.
Yeah.
He's got to throw it somewhere over here.
That ball's gonna be in the air for about a second and a half, which is a long time for basketball. And
so that literally, yeah.
Yeah, so it causes so many turnovers, and basically that's how we won the game was because we kept turning them over, and we won.
No, we won. We got this game. We applied this. I was the point guard, so I was the guy that was up 94 feet. Ian was one of these sides, and I mean we hit them with this every possession in the second half. I remember we got a steal here one time, and one of y'all threw it to me. This is one of the greatest times of my basketball career. One of y'all threw it to me. I got it, and I kind of dribbled in, and I did the rondo where I like kind of faked up this way, and I turned, and the guy jumped, and I turned and laid it up, and I'm like, we're gonna make this comeback. So I think maybe I had like 10 points. Ian had like 15 or 20. But when we won this game, that defense was goated. I look like if you play basketball and you can implement this diamond, it has to be perfect.
Yeah.
Because if these guys don't rotate correctly, then the ball, then you can break it down. But what we did was we just were suffocating. We forced bad passes. We did this and that. So we won this game. And I don't know if y'all know who Jalen Waddle is, but our sophomore year he played with us for like maybe 2-3 games, and he was so dirty. They're like, "Yeah, you got to go varsity."
If you don't know who Jalen Waddle is, he's basically the star wide receiver of the Miami Dolphins, and he's an incredible athlete. It's one of those guys where you see him at a young age, it's like, oh yeah, this guy's making the NFL or NBA, whatever the fuck he wants to do, basically in sports.
This footage, and I'm gonna find it. So we were playing at Piscal, we're playing at home. Jalen jumps and he blocks the ball. This was the most athletic play like out of a human I've ever seen. He jumps in the air, the guy shooting three, he blocks the ball. He's still in the air. The ball is going out of bounds. He levitates towards the ball. He's still in the air. Boom, he blocks it. He catches it with one hand. Okay? Or literally, I think he may have just like landed and then jumped for it. And he got the ball before it went out of bounds and just one-handed it down the court to Ian. Ian laid it up. And at that moment, I'm like, they're going to move him. like what he was doing to these kids. So we played so much. Like sophomore year, we were playing so well. Junior year, Ian and I played. We were the stars of varsity or JV, but we played varsity as well.
Yeah.
And but dude, our team was too nice. Like people were like, oh, like did y'all didn't play varsity? I'm like, dude, if you looked at our lineup, so let me tell you,
We have
Jalen
we had
Waddle was one of
two NFL players and a lot of college athletes on there.
yeah
It's like I think we were what top 10 in Texas, I think.
yeah we're
We
talking
were
about
top 10 in Texas. Like
Jalen Waddle, Marvin
oh my
Wilson,
God,
and
Trent
Trent.
Williams,
Oh my god,
Doc Nelson. I mean, oh
they're
my,
all D1. Like these are all D1
all
athletes.
D1
So
athletes. Yeah.
so
I
Ian
mean,
and I found ourselves on
yeah,
like the third
but
string.
but I mean, like I think I mean, like initially when we met, it was very competitive between each other because like it
Yeah,
was we
yeah.
were super. I mean, like we're 13, 14. We want to fuck each other up, obviously, and
Yeah,
like
see who's better, and then yeah, once we got older, we started. I think that's why Ian and I's relationship is kind of like this because we were like teammates before anything.
yeah,
So we were on the court together, and we would just like it was easy because you can go play with some people and you got to work on chemistry. But Ian and I just had it. Like his play style worked with how I played, and honestly, when we went to college together, so we lived together. But when we were in college, we played intramurals.
yeah,
And there was one thing where I think it was one. I don't know if it was the first year we played or the second year. Maybe it was the second year. Oh, it was the second year. Remember we played those like lawyers, that frat of lawyers, and this was a playoff game, guys. We played them, and the refs were honestly just atrocious. Okay, let me just put that out there. Whoever ref that game, the college students, the please don't ever do that again. Your blunders was awful. MJ was guarding the guy with like this. He was guarding the guy getting fouls. He's like, I don't even have my hands out. I don't even have my hands out. Why is a foul? So, long story short, the thing I didn't like was our coach. He was a nice guy. Like he was, our age, but he started a team, and I knew him, and then I got Ian along, and we came back from like 12 down with maybe 3 minutes left, and he did not put Ian back in. And that game, like we lost by maybe two, but it was like we just needed because remember that like he wasn't playing you that much in that
no,
situation.
yeah. I mean, it
That's
is
why we
what it is,
lost.
man. I mean, the intramurals, I didn't really. I mean, I cared, but like it was more of the high school that I cared about a lot more. Than like I think it's like once we realized we were better off with teammates than as competitors on freshman year.
Oh, dude.
I think the team was better, and we ended up playing a lot better as well.
But let me tell the story of the concussion.
Oh man, God.
Dude, this game, after that happened, I went on a 4-game tear. Like
Yeah,
I was scoring 12 points in the fourth quarter for my boy.
I don't know if I'm pretty sure I talked about it on stream where I got concussed by basically like fast
Let me
break.
tell the
This
story.
guy just completely takes me out.
Let me just tell it. So like we're playing Kincaid. It's our rival school, one of our rival
Fucking
schools,
kid, dog.
and we're there. We are at Kincaid. We're playing, and this is a close game. The whole game. I think we were maybe down 5 at this point. We obviously get a steal. The ball goes to Ian. Ian does what he does best. He's got a fast break. He drives to the basket, like right hand. He goes up, and the guy straight up like it was like the 80s of the Lakers where that guy got clotheslined by the Celtics. Like he straight up brought his. I have the video somewhere. He brought his arm and clotheslined Ian so hard, Ian fell on the floor and just head first, boom, came back up. They like the game, timeout. Like oh my god, I'm the first one that gets to Ian. I'm like, because I was like kind of chasing behind him. And I'm like, Ian, like, are you with me? And he was just like, whoa. Like, he was just out of it.
I'm fine,
And,
coach.
and I was just like, no, like, we have to get him out. And then you kind of like came to your senses, but you were like, dude, my head. And then you went out, and then that game, like, I just obliterated Kincaid. But I was like, dude, that moment, I was like, good Lord. That dude straight up took you out, Ian.
Yeah. So
Like,
I think that's like that my head hurt for a long time. Like, and I
dude,
remember cause we had a game the next day, and I told the coach, I'm like, I don't think I can play. Like I don't like I genuinely don't think I can play, and like I want to, But if I feel like if I'm gonna go out there and start running and shit, my head's gonna start falling off. I'm just like, I can't do it.
And what I'm saying is like the reason I went on a tear those last 4 games was we didn't have Ian, so it's like no one else was gonna score. So if I wasn't gonna score, we're missing like 10 to 15 points just off of Ian. So dude, like Ian was the way our starting lineup worked, and when he went out that junior year, we were just like, oh shit, like. Well, there goes a solid portion of our scoring.
Yeah.
So,
But
but no, I mean,
yeah,
more of the story.
I fucking high school basketball was a lot of fun, man.
I
I mean,
loved
like,
it, dude.
well, we were what I know we were 2-16 in our first year. We were awful, and then we were 10-8 in our next year. So we improved every year that we played together.
And remember, our sophomore year when we played, we were figuring it out. There was people coming in and out of the team. Jalen played for a little bit. He
Yeah.
left. Then Austin came, and then Jamon. And then, I mean, we didn't get a full team. But once we got our team, and it was me, you, Austin, Jamon, and Jordan Booker.
Yeah,
Oh
that was a good
my
team.
God. We won like the last 8 games in a row.
Oh, we were dominating teams.
Dominated.
I think we actually because we started off horrible that year.
We just like we didn't start off horrible. We just like we didn't have a set team.
Yeah, but then
The
at
people
the
coming in
end
and
of our
out.
year, it was like
Oh my god, we couldn't we
that's
couldn't
really
lose.
good. That
No,
was
we
really
could
good.
not lose. We
Yeah,
we lost to Houston Christian earlier that season. Remember? It was
yeah,
me and you. We lost to Houston Christian. Then we played him again, and that was one of the greatest games.
yeah. We
And we
won that shit.
we won that thing. And oh man, dude, that team, once we figured it out, that was one of the deadliest teams that we've had.
Oh,
That
dude.
one was a deadly team. Deadly team. Like everybody could move. Austin was I mean those guys were so athletic. Austin and
Yeah,
Jamon already. Then Ian's already breaking off because at that point you don't need to stay for the rebound. You got Jamon, Jordan, and Austin going for
going
the
for. Oh
rebound.
yeah, no, I don't. I'm not worried about any offensive or defensive rebound at that point.
No, so we literally so the moral of what we're trying to say is we had many battles on that court together. And I think that is
Yeah.
just like something where we at first our freshman year from not even rivals, just like competitors to like teammates, and we roomed together our freshman year of college. So it was just kind of like a thing where we were just teammates. I don't even know. Even like rooming together was just kind of like a teammate thing. Because dude, our hallway was crazy. We had to deal with it. Like those stories we'll
Our
tell another
hallway was. We can talk about that another time. Holy
another
shit.
time. But maybe that's an exclusive Discord thing that we'll like go through it. maybe we'll go through it like that. But dude,
Oh.
like, dude, so we were teammates there too, and like, no, I mean, and since then, that's kind of like how our relationship was. We were just always like teammates,
Yeah.
and now we're teammates once again on the podcast.
Hey, teammates for life, baby. Teammates for
I
life.
will say, I think if Ian and I coached a team, we would be pretty solid.
I agree. I would. I mean, I agree. I feel like I would. I'd be way too competitive though. Some kid's parent would yell at me at some point. I'm like, I don't really know if I want to do that.
And like, I'm here to win, baby. I'm
Yeah,
here to win.
I just go
Uh,
Wayne Jones on them, man.
go
But
win, yeah.
yeah, but yeah. I think every once in a while we'll pull out some stories for y'all. But that's a little bit of a taste on our basketball.
Yeah, we need
But
to.
yeah, I don't know if I want to talk about floor nine of couch. I don't know if I want to talk about that.
Oh,
Those are some like
Couch 9, that's like exclusive stuff.
that's like no,
Okay,
like it's exclusive. Like whoa, what the fuck did you just say? Kind of shit. You said like Discord exclusive. I don't even know if like I'm trying to think of how much exclusivity I would want on that if I was ever gonna tell stories about that hallway.
yeah,
So
you know what? Like, if you guys really want to hear those stories, make us an offer, and we'll we'll
yeah,
see if we want to tell those stories.
yeah, we'll have to think about that one.
We'll have to think about that one. But we had many battles together in
Many
college,
battles, but many successes as well.
many successes.
Yeah, but
But
I mean,
did you have anything else you wanted to add?
nah, man. I think good. I had wasn't sure it's pretty much of a dry week in terms of stuff to watch and content wise. So it was good to be able to pick our own topics instead of the topics
Yeah,
kind
I
of pick
kind of like that.
themselves.
Um,
But yeah,
and
it was good, man. I
well, I
don't have
mean, we
anything
have
else to
so many
add.
stories. We have so many stories.
Oh yeah,
I think just like for the 10 episode kind of special, I think we just wanted to go over just because the basketball thing is just like kind of a hint of of kind of some stories we have.
Yeah.
It's not just basketball. I think we wanted to talk about that basketball because our relationship started kind of on the court.
Yeah.
And our relationship for how much we love basketball, like we both were similar in that. So no, I mean, if you guys want to, I think what we'll try to do is tell more stories as time goes on. If you guys want to hear any stories, just
Yeah.
but
We'll spread them out a bit. We don't want to
of
spill them
course we
all
got
at
to spread it
once.
out. Got to
Yeah.
spread it out.
It could be like a every 10 episode thing where we like say something like, well, I don't want to say, I would say, I was about to say fucked up / couch
Look, we
nine
should do
story.
just you know what we should do. If you guys want to do a Q&A, Ian will get on the Twitch, bro. Do it
Yeah,
once a month or
yeah.
something.
You want to do a Q&A? Send us some questions and we'll discuss them. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all we have today. Again, sorry for the the delay of a day or day delay. But
Just glad we got to do it, guys.
yeah,
And you're
sometimes
here.
just sometimes just gotta do it like that. But we'll be back next Wednesday. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Neima's fired up right now, by the way, guys. He's been fired up all night. He's been ready. Yeah, he's been ready for the
I'm
podcast.
excited we got to talk about, even we talk about a lot of content stuff. We kind of talk about.
Yeah, it's just good. It's just good to tell you. It's just good to talk about just the old shit. It feels great. But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next week. You guys have a good rest of the week and weekend. We'll see you then for episode 11. Peace out, guys.